Hello everyone, this is WildBlade from Creative Media Vault in Tokyo, Japan. And today I'm going to be showing you guys how I create some character artwork for my 2D games in Unity. So as some of you may know, I am a game developer and I've been working on games for a couple of years. I started off with RPG Maker and stuff like that. Then I moved on to iOS. And now I'm like full time. I'm trying to go full time into Unity. So here's like some of the characters that I've created for my current game project, which is called CDULO: The Outer Rim. And this will be a very special game for me because it's the first, going to be my first major commercial game that I will be releasing on the Steam platform. This game is like nowhere near completed at the moment, but I'm gonna be working on it and launching a Kickstarter for this project. So you cannot wishlist this game right now because I'm still creating my Steam page. However, if you're interested in learning more about this game or the projects that I'm working on, you can check out my website, which is creativemv.com, or and you can like go to the Steam page here, or you can check out some of the other games that I've developed. And if you're still curious about this, you can also play the demo version of the game uh, online on my itch.io page, which you can find right here. Right. So I do like have some screenshots, and some other like little small things, which some other like little small things that are kind of up for people to just kind of get a general idea of what the game is going to be based on. But I do have people who ask me questions about like how I create artwork and what I use to create artwork with. So I'm just gonna start talking about that, and I'll try to do a devlog every couple days just to show you the progress of the game and stuff like that, and how I am actually creating it, right? And for those of you who are still interested and who like these like cool character designs and stuff like that, if you're interested in owning some of the merchandise, you can actually go to my online store, which is nerdyurges.com. But you can like find some of the game related projects on products on the page here. And here's the actual online store where you can like support me by buying some of the merchandise that I create from original games in original characters, right? So, how do I create artwork for my games? A lot of my artwork actually starts on iPad. So I use a mix of iPad and Procreate to do the initial designs. But I like to do a lot of my actual character animations and character setup and the character artwork in Adobe Animate. So what I'll do is after I do like sketches and the basic concept on iPad, I'll transfer this over to Adobe Animate. And the reason why I like doing that is because, well, it's Adobe Animate and I'm more familiar with that one anyway. But for example, like Adobe Animate is a vector, more like a vector graphics program. So it allowed me to do cool stuff like this. Now, when I create a project, I'm trying to think of how I can get the most usage out of each character. So what I tend to do is I like to use Animate because this allows me to create graphics for the game. It also allows me to create graphics for any like animations or any little like I guess like GIF files or whatnot. And also this is where I create a lot of my store products, right? So by using Animate, it gives me a lot of options for what I want to do with the character outside of gaming as well. And a lot of these graphics that I create here, I've got to switch the layer on this one. Give me a second. This is kind of annoying me because his yeah, because his arm is like passing through that little belt, little belt flap here. Okay, there we go. So, this does give me a lot of options to use these characters outside of the Unity game. And I can adjust sizes, I can quickly switch colors and stuff like that. So all of the artwork that you're seeing in here right now is actually created in Animate, right? So I've got a lot of stuff. I've got my main characters, the main cast here. I haven't really started working on the enemies, right? So I'll introduce you to some of these. This is Megan, she's the sniper of the team. This is Zinjin, he's the leader. This is Corey, Zinjin's right-hand man, kind of. this is Franklin, who's a really interesting character. All of these characters are interesting because they have their own backstories. But this is Franklin. He's more like the engineer. This is Dozer, who is our honey badger in space. This is Randy, who's like our magic caster. And this is Black Wolf. He's the navigator of the team. So as you can see, I've kind of already, gone through the steps of creating all of the all of the artwork for their weapons, which you'll see in the Unity game. But since I do have people who are wondering how I create my artwork, I figured I would recreate one of these, just quickly, just to kind of show you how I do it. So I think we're gonna go with Franklin's bomb launcher here. Hold on, I keep on hitting the wrong button to zoom in. I don't want to zoom in that damn much. Yeah, so I'll show you how I created this bomb launcher here. So he's got, in the game, he'll have like this launcher that can shoot bombs. He also tosses grenades, and I'm going to give him a grappling gun for the game, but I'll recreate this one for you guys just to give you an idea of how I do it. All right. So, the original character that I imported from my iPad looked like this, right? So this is the character graphic that I used, but as you'll notice, this is just a straight up JPEG, right? So I can't move it, I can't really manipulate it so much, so I'll need to recreate this. So what I'm going to do first, before I start really getting into designing and creating the graphics in Adobe Animate, is first I'm going to pick the color palette. So I like the colors that I have in this weapon, so I'm going to quickly hold on, switch over here. And I'm going to get the basic colors from this, and then I'm going to draw a square. Yeah, just a little small square. And I'll pick the other major color that I might want, which will be this gray. And for some reason my color selection is a little bit slow today. I've got a lot of stuff running in the background, so that might be why. Alright, and I'll go ahead and draw this here. So I'm just kind of making a quick color palette. And I mean, I do the same thing for characters, so if there's any particular color or anything that I need for any character, what I'll do is I'll pre-select that before I start drawing, right? So here's our 3 main colors that we're going to need for this. And then the rest of these, I'll go ahead and select this yellow. But yellow is kind of, I'll show you what we're going to do with that later. Right? And there we go. Alright, so that's my color palette. And now, generally when I'm creating something, I tend to use a color that is not really associated with the character, so it's easier to see. So I'm going to select this pink because if you'll notice, this guy's not rocking any pink anywhere in his design. So I'll go ahead and use this pink. And I'm going to draw a square here. And I'm going to draw it right over the weapon that I'm going to be using or creating. And now I'm going to and I'm going to select all of these. And the reason I'm selecting all of these is because I'm going to hit F8. And I'm going to turn this into a symbol. Alright, so this keeps everything together. Now, don't worry about these color swatches. They're just kind of here, just for quick references to colors, which I kind of forgot this one down here, so I'm going to go ahead and get this black here, get this dark gray here. Alright, but we're going to wind up deleting these color swatches later anyway. But I'm going to go into here, and let me go ahead and add this color swatch as well. Alright. And now that I've got all of my color that I'm going to need in this little symbol, I'm actually going to go ahead and start creating the weapon. So we're going to start with this pink square. And the reason we're going to start with this pink square is because, like I said, it's not a part of his original color palette, so this will be easier for us to work with. And if you'll notice, I can't really see anything through this square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this, and I'm going to go over here and change the opacity to 50%, right? And this will give me the ability to see through this square so that I can actually start, kind of shaping it to make the weapon. So I've got down here, I have my layers and my layers. So I'm going to be working on different layers, but this will all be within this one symbol. So it won't really interact with the rest of the stage, which is kind of what I want, right? So to start making this weapon, it's going to be really easy. I'm gonna start kind of just box forming. So I start most of my animations and most of my character designs in Animate with a box, right? So it's kind of like working in 3D a little bit, where you're like, where you start with a basic shape. And if you'll notice, we can't really like see behind. His hand is kind of in the way, but that's all right. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm just gonna drag this box, to form the basic shape. So I'm just gonna be working with basic shapes to get, a contour of the weapon, and then we're gonna chop it up and do what we need to later. Right. So yeah, this is basically his bomb launcher. Yay! Tutorial finish. All right. So now we've got this edge here, and if you're not familiar with Adobe Animate, you can actually just hold your mouse over a line and it'll give you like a couple of options. This will help me to kind of shape the weapon, kind of curve the weapon in a way that I need it. We're going to go ahead and curve this one down here, even though we're not going to be using this curve. If that happens, just hit Control Z. We're not going to be using this curve, right? So, yeah, so this is kind of like the basic shape. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to put this below here. And I'm going to use another, I'm going to create another pink square. And I'm going to scroll up here. Now, sometimes I might want to lock the previous one, the layer above, just to make sure. All right, now, if you'll notice, we have this funky little black line here that I don't want. So I'm going to hit Control Z on that. And the reason we have a black line is because I get selected a stroke color. So generally when we're going to add like strokes to this later, but generally when I'm first starting to like form a weapon or a character, I try to keep the strokes off because I might need to change the line width or the color later. So it's just easier to add it later for me. So I'm going to start with a box that does not have a line, an outline, and I'm going to drop it up in here, and I'm going to zoom in, hitting the Z key, and just going to go over here and use my box forming tool. So once you get used to this, it's actually pretty easy and pretty fast to do stuff. Now, if you notice, when I hold my mouse over an edge right now, I'm only getting the curve tool. To change that, I'm going to hit the option tool, right, on Mac. So it's the option on Mac, and this will let me create points. Yeah. And don't worry, this doesn't need to be perfect because we're going to do a lot with it in a little bit. So yeah, something like this is fine. I might actually make this a little bit bigger over here, a little bit longer, I would say. Yeah. And boom, that is the back of the weapon. So if you notice, I have like these layers. I can turn these on and off, and you can kind of see the stacking order of things. Now, let's see, I'm going to zoom back out. So that's the back of the weapon. Let's see, I could just copy the back, but I think I'll go ahead and, add something at the front of it. So if you'll notice, this layer is below the actual cannon, like the actual tube part, or barrel part of the bomb launcher. So I'm gonna have to add another layer above that, right? So, I mean, it's always a good idea to label your layers, but since for a weapon like this, I kind of normally don't do that. So I could just like put the barrel head or something. Yeah, I used to be in the military, so I used to know all these terms. I conveniently forgot everything once I got out, because I've been out for like 20 years, so. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another box, another pink box. And like I said, the pink doesn't interfere with any of the other colors, so it's easier to see when I'm like forming stuff. And then we're just going to change it later anyway. All right, so let me save this. Just pull all this out here, and don't forget to save regularly because it kind of sucks if you do all of this work and then Flash or Animate decides to crap out for some reason. Occasionally, if you don't, the reason that keeps happening is like occasionally I'm not over a line, so it tries to grab the whole thing. So I mean, you can actually do some really detailed work with this method. Just using boxes and just using circles and stuff like that, just using basic shapes. All right, so yeah, there's the head of our barrel. Yay. So Yeah, it doesn't really look, so I'll pull him out a little bit over here, maybe make him a little bit taller over here. Mm. Okay, so that is, the basic shape of our weapon. So we've got 3 layers, basic shape. So what I can do here is I can hit F8 and create another symbol for the front, because I do kind of want to separate these out a little bit. And I'll click here and I'll create another symbol for the back. So that was F8 to convert these to a symbol. I'm going to unlock this layer, and I'm also going to convert this one to a symbol, right? So now I can like work on each of these separate pieces without having to worry about them trying to like overwrite each other on these like layers here. So I'm going to click the back, the back part of the barrel doesn't really have so much going for it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one first. So with this, I think I do kind of like, the way that this has shaped up so far. I'm going to click on this pink, pink outline, or pink design, and I'm going to create another layer above it, and then I'm going to just hit Control-Shift-V to copy and paste. And the reason I'm going to do that is because now I'm going to hit the Q button, and I'm going to shrink this down, right? So once I shrink this down, this gives me a little bit of extra, a little bit of extra area to add different shadings or different colors to this back portion. All right, so let's see, what else do I need? All right, so I think actually that's about it for the back half. So now all I need to do is I need to change the color. So I think the original color that hold on, let me like jump up out of this. So this is where our previously selected color palette comes in. And, the back of this would be gray. So, oops, I selected the wrong symbol. Alright, so I'm going to jump up in here and go to this guy. And I'm just going to change this color to the previous gray. And I'm going to set this to 100% now, so that we can actually see what it looks like. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. And for this one, actually, I think I might want to invert that. Give me a second. Yeah, I think I might want to change this one to that gray and change this one back here to a slightly lighter gray. Come on. Maybe a little bit lighter than that, actually. Yeah, I might switch that one to a lighter gray. Yeah, just to kind of give it a little bit. How do I do that? Okay, this one will be darker, and I'll make this one lighter. Because the actual like barrel is going to be a bit dark. Okay, yeah, I might do it like this. All right, and this is looking completely underwhelming, right? Well, that's one reason for that is because we don't have lines on it. So I'm gonna switch to the outline, and I'm gonna choose the color, usually black for this. And I can go to the line tool right here and try to draw a line around all of this, but that would be kind of mendokusai, and it wouldn't make any sense. So I'm going to click on the ink bottle tool. So if you're not seeing the ink bottle tool, you can hit the S key, or you can like click and hold your left mouse button, and you'll notice that it's below the paint bucket. So I'm just gonna go here, and I'm gonna click here. But if you'll notice, this line is pretty thick. I don't want something that thick. So you'll see that the stroke size over here is at 10. So I might drop this down to about maybe 6 because for the weapon, and then click again. And yeah, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to do the same thing here, and yay, we have our like a little contour of the back part of our launcher. And now I still want to do something with these to kind of make it look a little bit look more textured and look like there's a little bit more depth to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this line tool over here, and I'm just gonna like actually what I like to do is I like to create a lot of these lines on a separate layer, and I'll show you why I do that in a little bit. So I'm gonna create another layer just for lines, And I'm going to draw through here. That looks a little bit big. I think I'm going to take this line size down to 3. And then I'm going to draw like a few lines just to kind of intersect everything, right? All right. And just like this, yeah. Just like that, yeah. And so this gives, the reason I'm not drawing these lines on these other 2 layers at the moment is because right now I want to make sure that they match up a little bit more, accurately, and that they're not really intersecting with the lines on the other layers at the moment, because I want to make sure that when I start cutting the excess from them, that it's not going to deform the 2 previous shapes, right? So right now, if you'll notice, if I click this layer, there's only the lines here, and that's what I want at the moment, So this gives me the option of, say, for example, if I don't like this line by itself and I want to adjust it, well, I have freedom to do that because it's not intersecting with either of these 2 lines. So I can kind of play with these, get them a little bit more lined up in the way that I want them to be, make sure that, like, for example, this right here, if I want to be a little bit more of a perfectionist and stuff like that, I can just like drag it over here and like, kind of, make sure that it lines much better, right? And once I'm sure that all of these have a line, which this kind of looks like a spider web now I think about it, but now I make sure that, now I'm checking and I can make sure that all of these are aligned. I can like jump back out of here, and I'm going to copy the lines from this layer. I'm going to click this layer. It's going to highlight everything. I'm going to cut. Actually, I'm going to hit Command X to cut, and then I'm going to first go to this layer, and I'm going to hit Control Shift V and paste. And the reason I'm doing that is because now I'm going to cut the excess off of these lines. So I'm just going to click each part that I don't need and get rid of it. Now, say for example, like one of these is misaligned in the beginning. Well, if I had actually drawn it on this layer before, on this second layer before, you'll notice that this line intersects with these 2 lines over here. So if I needed to adjust this whole line, well, this kind of happens, right? And so it can create a problem, like if I want to curve something or deform it. Well, like the rest of this works well. The rest of this line works well, but this top part is intersecting with these lines here, so it makes it a little bit difficult for me to form it the way that I want to. So in this case, I'm going to cut it off, but that's why I draw all the lines on a layer above, right? Before I start, cutting, and make sure and align them before I start cutting, right? So there we go. All right, and now, like also, if you'll notice, this part is, kind of below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Now, another way I could do this, really, is I could just like go here and just drag these here, just to make sure that they line up with the layer below as well. Yeah. So this is taking a little bit longer because I'm explaining as I'm going, but you guys get the general idea. Yay! Okay, so that is the back of our gun, basically. Back of our cannon, basically done. All right, and I mean, I could add another one, but I'm not going to. All right, so let us go back out of here. So you're going to see how like easy this really is in a little bit. I'll go ahead and do the front. So kind of same process. We have a few extra steps here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and click the ink bottle, and I'm going to, hold on, let me change my line size. I'm going to bump my line size back up to about like 6 or maybe even 8. I'll go 7. And I'm going to click the ink bottle, and I'm going to go ahead and put an outline around this. Yeah, I think I want that line a bit thicker, so maybe even 10. Yeah, because it's the front, right? I'm going to go here, yeah, and kind of use the same steps. I think I might shrink this one down a little bit, make it a little bit more even, since it is the front, and maybe make that a bit bigger. But you'll see that this you'll notice that this does give me a lot of options, right? Right, now, so I have the outline of this. I'm going to copy this part, and I'm going to create another layer above it right now. And then I'm just going to paste it here, and I'm going to hit Q, and I'm going to shrink this guy down as well to create the interior. Right. And since I've already got my line color selected, I'm going to go ahead and create an outline of this one. Right. And now, what I can do is I might not necessarily need to add the bevels to this because, you know, this is the front of the gun. So what I'm going to do here is, you'll notice that we have a circle inside of here, right? So if I can't see something correctly, I might, you know, maybe this pink is kind of getting in the way. I can kind of hide this layer here, and I will add another layer on top. And sorry, like I'll add another layer on top of this one, and this is where I'm going to add my circle. So to make a circle, you can go to the oval tool, which is kind of hidden, stacked below the rectangle tool. So I'll go to oval tool. I might lock these other layers and like unlock this one just to make sure. And then I'm just going to create an oval shape. And if I hold the shift button, it'll turn it into a like perfect circle, but I kind of want an oval for this. Okay, so I have my oval, and I'm going to take this, click here, hit my Q, and I'm going to grab one of the edges to where I see this little circle thing, like kind of half circle icon, and I'm just going to drag it, you know, and rotate it until I'm satisfied with the way that looks, and I'm dragging him over here and drop him. And if you need to like move something, you can nudge it with the arrow keys on your keyboard. All right, and there we go. So that is the barrel of our, you know, of our weapon. And so I got this. All right, so yeah, that's looking pretty nice. I might want to squeeze this down a little bit. Yeah, no. Nah, I think I'll leave it like it was. All right, cool. So that is the barrel of our gun. All right, so for the colors, again, I can go back to my color palette here, and I think I want to make this the front of the barrel a little bit, I guess, a little bit lighter so that it stands out in the game. So a lot of times when you're developing something, especially when you're doing artwork, you'll find that a lot of the colors and stuff that you select when you're designing on iPad or designing in Adobe Photoshop, they look great. But when you port them over to the game and you're dealing with different backgrounds, you'll notice a lot of times that the coloring doesn't work, so you might have to adjust things, right? So for this, I might have to adjust the colors, the lightness and darkness of the base colors for this weapon in order for them to show up in the game, because a lot of my game will have will have like some darker maps and darker lighting. So let's see, I will go ahead and switch the front of this to where it's like more identifiable. So I'm gonna turn this part into a lighter gray, and I will switch this over to a probably a darker gray right here. Yeah, and you know, that'll give a little bit more contrast to the inside of the barrel and the weapons and projectiles that will be coming out of it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click this, and I'm going to switch it over to, go ahead and up the opacity to 100%. And the same for this, I'm going to up the opacity to 100%. All right, and that looks, I might actually darken this a little bit. That's a little bit too light, because I'm going to add some highlights to this as well. All right, so yeah, we'll go with this for now. All right. And for this pink, we're just going to kind of leave it like this for the moment. No, we're not. We're going to go ahead and switch this over to black, I guess. Yeah, we'll go ahead and switch the inside of this over to black. But I am going to leave this at, I am going to want this one at 50% so that we can kind of see below it. And for these other two layers right now, what I'm going to do is I am going to hide them. So that, you know, when it comes to adding the inside of the barrel, adding the lighting inside the barrel, it's easier. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add the lighting to the inside of this barrel. And the way I'm going to do that is, first I'm going to turn this into a symbol. Now, the reason I'm turning this one into a symbol is because if it is if we just kind of leave it as a standard graphic, we cannot add filters and effects to it, right? So, for example, I might want to add a glow to the outside of this barrel. So if it's just like a standard like circle, well, I have this nice beautiful circle, but I can't really do anything to it. So if I click on this, you'll notice that I don't have any options to like add any filters, right? So I can't really do anything special with it. I can like change the color, change the line color or something like that, but I don't get any of the extra options. So that's why I've turned this into a symbol, right? So if you want to add like filters and special options to it, you need to turn it into a symbol or a movie clip, which is what we call them in like Flash or Animate. Damn it. All right. So now that I have this changed into a movie clip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it and I'm going to double click inside of this, and that will take me to an edit mode. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some lines. I'm not going to draw them on this layer. I'm going to draw them on a layer above, and for the same reasons. So you'll notice that, let me go ahead and jump up in here. We have these really bright yellow lines that kind of have a halo around them, right? To give it like a nice little glow effect, like something's gonna pop up out of there and just totally fuck your world up, right? Well, in order to get that effect, I'm going to be using, it looks like it's kind of difficult, but it's actually really easy. I'm just going to be using the line tool. Um, and my mouse keeps on hitting like the wrong, the corner of my computer, which is why that keeps happening, sorry. All right, so I'm just going to use the standard line tool. And this is how easy it is to create like, glowing lighting effects for your weapons. So I'm going to click this tool. I'm going to make sure I'm on the layer above, and I tend to lock the bottom layer anyway. And I'm just going to draw 3 lines, like line 1. I mean, if I'm lazy, I can just do it with, like with 1 line. So, and then I'm gonna like curve it out. And I mean, I could like drop it down to the layer below and chop it off, like we did before, like at the intersect points. But I'm not gonna do that. I think the line thickness of this is a little bit bigger than I wanted, so I'm going to drop this down to probably around 6. Come on, yeah. So when you're creating like game characters and weapons and stuff like that, it's also a good idea to go ahead and try to standardize your line widths. Because when you're doing a game, you'll notice that you'll need to have a little bit of a thicker line around your 2D character in order for it to show up in different backgrounds. So like I've played around with a lot of different line sizes, but for like characters, I tend to use maybe like a 12. For the outside of the character, for the outline of the character, I tend to use like a 12 or 15. And then I try to standardize from there. So like maybe for since when I'm playing the game, the weapon is not going to be the main focal point of the game per se. I want people to kind of focus on the character. The lines around the character will be thicker, while the lines around the weapon will be like a little bit thinner. So maybe for the character, I'll have like a 12. For the weapon, I might have like a 10. And then for the details of the weapon, it starts slowly going down, like maybe about to 8, 6, or maybe in this case for the internal, like a 3. So just to where the player can see some details, but it doesn't really take away from the character, if you know what I mean. All right, so let's go back to this. So I have this red line here, and I'll go ahead and hit Control Shift V, and I will just copy this over like this, and same thing. This over here. All right. And of course, I can kind of like, just, make these smaller or whatnot. And if it's like a curve too much, I can kind of play with the curve here, just kind of make sure that fits in here. So depending on your style, you might want to do this, or you might just want to like draw your lines on this, copy your lines and put them on the bottom layer, and then chop them off to where they fit more accurately inside of the shape. But I'm just kind of doing this here for now, just like, and these lines are red, so Again, I can't really do anything with them except for change the color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change these colors first to yellow. Yeah, so I'm going to make these yellow lines by clicking on the stroke tool and then just going in here and change the color. Yay! Okay, that was easy. But, you know, other than that, let's like check and see what they look like now. Yeah, so this is kind of what it looks like at the moment. But, you know, this doesn't really look too interesting. It's like, oh wow, there's some yellow lines inside of a pipe. Yay! So this doesn't look like anything's going to happen. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to like go ahead and click on this symbol, and the reason I turned these into a symbol in the first place is so that I can add filters to them. So on the symbol with these three lines in it, I'm going to add the effect. I'm going to go to filter, and I'm going to go click this button, and I'm going to go to glow, right? So I can do glow or I can do inner glow. Actually, ooh, that doesn't look too bad. But it's still not the effect that I'm going for. So let's go ahead and get rid of this one. And I think I'm going to click into the symbol again, and I'm going to select all three lines, and I'm going to turn these into a symbol, right? And now, what I'm going to do is not that. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to filters, and let's see if this will give me the glow. Okay, so now if you'll notice when I hit glow, I've got a nice little glow around these three things, and that's what I want, right, around these three lines. And I think I'm going to bump the size of this up to about maybe 20, 25. Can I get a 30? Can I get yeah, about maybe 30. Okay. Now, you have a couple of glow options. You can do, I'm doing an outer glow or standard glow, but you can also do like an inner glow, which will change like the color of everything, which is kind of what I don't want to do. So I'm going to leave them like this. And now when I pop back out of here, you'll notice we've got a little bit more, you know, a little bit more excitement going on in here. Right. But that's still not glowy enough for me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on this symbol again. I'm not going back into the actual line. I'm going to the symbol above it. And I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click glow one more time. And I might go with the inner glow this time. Yeah. All right. So now we'll get to like post-processing and stuff later with particle effects. And that post-processing I tend to do back in Procreate, like in Procreate on iPad, right? So if you have an iPad is one of the best tools for game development, especially if you're just working on 2D and not doing 3D stuff, right? So actually, I think I'm gonna go back in here because I noticed, I noticed that there's this red glow around the actual barrel, which I don't want at the moment. So I think I'm going to go ahead and turn this one off. Yeah, get rid of this glow. And just work more on the glow during post-processing. Right. Right, but anyway, yeah, that's how it looks. So, yeah, it's turning out pretty well. But we still have this area back here, which we haven't done anything to. So I'm going to speed this up now that I've kind of explained all of the basics. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go to my line tool. And I'm going to go to my ink bottle, and I'm just going to toss a line around this. Okay, this line is a little bit weak. I want it a little bit thicker, so I'm going to turn this up to about like a 10, and ink bottle them again. Right, and that should be good enough. Now, let's zoom in on this guy a little bit. If you will notice, there are a few different kind of layers or levels to this bevel. So what I can do is I can actually create lines to cut out certain parts. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to just go here, and I'm going to create another layer so I can draw my lines cleanly. And I'm just going to create a line here. Boom. And I might actually even create a line back here just to give it a little bit of extra, something. And I'm going to, give it a little bit of extra detail. I'm gonna shrink these lines down to, you know, standard about like 6, right? Because they're just there to intersect, you know. And I'm gonna line this up a little bit here, and line this up a little bit here, right? Now they look misaligned, but that's because the shapes are going to be a bit different. So this is going to just kind of fall off into a circle. So I'm just gonna hold on. Maybe, yeah, this will be a bit better, I think. All right. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut in here, like put another line here, and then I think I have another edge around here, so I'm gonna like put another line. That's not where I want it. Put another line right around here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, since I have these kind of lined up, these you know, these places kind of sectioned off, and I'm pretty sure where the lines are. I kind of like where they are right now. I'm going to copy all of these lines. Actually, I'm going to cut all of these lines. So Command X on a Mac, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom layer and I'm going to paste them. Right. And this is how I managed to cut out, like, I'm using this method to cut out some more interesting shapes, or you know, shapes that are not really standard. So I can do a lot more detailed, like lines, and a little bit more detailed formation. Or even I can use this method to like kind of separate certain parts of the same shape. So for example, you'll notice there's a triangle in the middle of this. So if I click here, I'm just like selecting the triangle. And you know, I can actually just delete this and it'll leave a hole. And this is an easy way to create holes for lights and stuff inside of your weapon. Or like I can, so all of these have been like kind of separated, and it'll allow me to give it different colors as well. So what I'm gonna focus on right now is this part here. So I kind of want this part to be a little bit wider, I think. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click here and I'm gonna delete this, and click here to delete this excess. All right, and this gives me the option now that it should have created new you know, editable shape to drag this out here, right? I'm going to drag these edges out a little bit, yeah, and then I'm going to bring this part down, yeah, good, no, right about there, you know, just kind of evening out a little bit, yeah. And I think I'm going to drag this in a little bit here. All right. And now I'm just going to delete these extra lines that I don't need. And this lets me create a shape that I normally wouldn't have been able to create, or that would have been a little bit more difficult to create with like basic shapes like squares and circles, right? So I use this cutting method a lot, right? So I don't really need these. They're just kind of in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this, get rid of this, and get rid of this. So I just deleted all of those, and this allows me to edit the shape a little bit more. You know, I can like kind of play around with like making it, you know, kind of play around with making it a little bit more, you know, the way that I want it. I have a couple of extra lines here, but I'm not going to worry about those right at the moment, unless they get in my way, then I will eliminate them. But so far they're okay. All right, and then for this back one, I'm going to click here and get rid of that, get rid of that. And the reason I created this is because I kind of want to like add a little bit of extra detail to it. So I'm going to add a curve here. And now what I can do is I can actually start adding different colors to this. So I'm going to add a darker gray to here, I think. Actually, no, I think I'm going to add a lighter gray to this one. Yeah. And then let's go back to our swatches. All right. So yeah, I think I'm gonna grab this swatch here. Hold on. Yeah, so I'm gonna grab this swatch, and the main body of the gun is gonna be this color. So I'm just gonna go here and then switch it out, boom, and then change it. I'm not gonna change the opacity yet, actually, and I'll show you why in a little bit, because we still need to see where all the lines and lights are. For this one right here, this part, I think that's also going to be kind of gray, I think. So, now I'll make it green. Yeah, just for the sake of argument. So, green. Okay, so same colors. Now you notice this doesn't really look like it's lining up so well. So what you can do is we can just hit Q and kind of rotate a little bit and then back it up. So I can kind of nudge it into place wherever I need it to be. There, yeah. And that looks a little bit better. Yeah. So working in this method gives me a lot of options for like stuff that I would like to do or stuff that I need to edit with with this gun or with these weapons. And so I'm saying I need to align these a little bit more and maybe like drop this down here a little bit, yeah. And that seems to work a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that looks better. I think maybe a little bit wider on this so. Okay. Well, I'm not trying to be a perfectionist with this one anyway because it's just a tutorial, but but you'll see what I'm like talking about a little bit. So maybe I might yeah, make that like this. Okay. So it does look a little bit straighter. That line's getting on my nerves. Sorry, guys. Okay. And like now what I'm going to do, so we have the back of this and we have the front. And I think also I might go ahead and change this back color to that green as well, just to keep it a little bit consistent, because I decided to put that other gray, that additional gray area in the back of it. So yeah, I'll change that to green. All right, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, that looks much better. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the previous method for creating the lights inside of here to create the lights on the outside of this barrel. So I'm going to go in here, zoom in. All right, and again, when it comes to lines that I might want to like edit or delete later, I just draw them on the layer above. So I'm going to lock this layer here, and I'm going to grab my line tool, and I'm going to go to the layer above, and I'm just going to start drawing lines. So I'm going to draw these lines using yellow, and now I can't really see so much because I've got like a lot of additional details for his guns and his bullet, like his energy bullets. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. I haven't given those like I can't remember the name of those right now. So, all right. So I'm just gonna draw these lines over here, and might give them a little bit of extra, give them, just kind of randomly put them around here. And then I'm gonna go up here and drag some lines around here. And yeah, that's basically it. So I'm gonna go here and here, and I don't have to be like perfect with these at the moment. Here, and like kind of make it look like a little bit more high tech or whatnot. And put some lines over here that I'm going to probably curve out. Yeah. And give this one, yeah, a direct line over here. Maybe here. Want it to look a little bit, like more like kind of cyberpunk. Like, I don't know, like definitely I want players to be able to, when they look at this, I want players to be able to guess at one glance that this is an energy-based weapon, right? So the more glowing stuff I kind of have on the outside, the more they can kind of infer that this is going to be a dangerous, like a high-impact energy weapon. If I that makes it a little bit, I guess, a little bit easier for them to imagine. So the more, if you're making high-tech weapon, the more glowing stuff you can kind of put on the frame, the more people, ooh, this is an energy weapon. Whereas if it's just like, standard base colors with like no glow effects or anything like that, they might be actually expecting it to be a standard like, bullet-based weapon or projectile-based weapon. So this will give them a little bit more of a natural feeling that this is a weapon that should be feared for its energy output. All right, so I have all of these lines here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this layer, and I'm going to cut these lines. I keep on saying copy, but cut. I'm going to cut these lines, and then I'm going to drop them down on the layer below, just like we previously did. So, boom. And now this lets me cut out all of the excess stuff that I don't need. So I don't need that. I don't need that. So I'm just like clicking on the excess edges and like getting rid of those to where they're out of the way. And now I'm going to curve this line up because this is a kind of circular weapon. Or it does have a, I mean, no, I said circular. It's a cylindrical weapon. Right? So I'm just going to like drag them here. And I might intersect this one here. Yeah. Yeah, that should be good, I think. Good enough. Maybe it's here. Like I said, I'm not trying to be a perfectionist with this one. Moment, and get rid of that little extra point here. All right, and then we're gonna do the same thing. So we're just gonna like click this layer. We're gonna click these lines. Click these lines one by one. You know, make sure that they're all highlighted. Now that we've cut them to where we want them to be. Yeah, that's all of them. And then I'm gonna hit Control F8 to turn them into a symbol. And you know, we're going to, oh shoot, I forgot about that guy. Cut him too. Let's see. I'm just gonna add him to the same symbol, right? But he's kind of hanging out by himself, looking a little bit lonely back there. So I'm just gonna get rid of him actually. Yeah. All right, and now I'm just gonna add the same glow effect that we did before. So I'm gonna go to filters and go to glow, and that's gonna give me my little glow area. I'm gonna bump this up to, I think I did 30 the last time. Yeah, like about 30. Yeah, 28, 30. That's good enough. All right, and now all I have to do is change the color of this base to bump this back up to 100. And there we go. So we have a nice glowing weapon. I think I'm going to turn, I'm trying to decide which color I want this. Do I want this to be green or do I want it to be gray? Okay, this green doesn't really look so bad, I think. This back one, I'll go ahead and drop this, bump this up to 100 as well, so that we can see a little bit of contrast. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that looks pretty good for you know, the base of the weapon. So if I go back out here, you know, I can see that it does kind of match what I'm match what I'm going for here. So I've got the green, I've got the gray in the background. I don't have the highlights yet, so I'll go ahead and add the highlights to this in a little bit. Ooh, I missed that. So I think I am going to put another a few lines back here. You know, kind of to give it that little glowing effect in the back of the weapon as well. And yeah, buddy, I think I'm gonna change this to gray. Yeah, so I'm going to change this area to dark gray to give a little bit of, you know, separation from the actual barrel in the back. Okay, yeah, that looks better. And what were they doing? Oh, yeah, these guys. So, yeah, I think everybody pretty much can see how I create my weapons now. So, like I said, it's not really too difficult. And once you get pretty good at it, it's actually, like, not so time-consuming either. And the main, like I said, the main reason why I like creating in Animate is because it gives me so many other options to just go ahead and start as soon as I create the entire character, create the entire weapon, I can immediately start using this in different medias. Whereas if I create it in Photoshop, Photoshop is good for animation and stuff like that as well, but it doesn't give me as many options for like using, like, I guess for like using these in like a movie or something like that. Whereas with Animate, I can go ahead and like separate all of the parts that I need to and just like immediately start working from there. I think I'm gonna create this, if you guys know what I mean. So Now, there was this little area back here that I kind of want to put a line across. All right, and if I do that, it's going to intersect. So I'm going to create a line here, and I'm just going to put it over here. And I want the back of the weapon to kind of glow as well. Yeah, just like that. No, not just like that. I want this one to actually maybe intersect here. And since this is the back of the weapon, I might actually, I want that back line to kind of stand out. So I'll probably increase the stroke size, not to that damn much though, like, to about maybe 8. Yeah, to where, we can kind of make sure that it covers everything. Maybe 10, 9, yeah, let's go 9. Okay, yeah, that should help. Alright, cool. Alright, so there we go. We've got our weapon with our globe. Boom. And that's looking pretty good, right? So, like all of these little particle effects were added in post processing with on the original image with Adobe with Procreate on iPad. So I'm not gonna worry about doing those here. You could do them here, but I'm just not gonna worry about it. Now what I need to do is, this looks like a nice glowing weapon. However, it looks like the I guess the technical parts or the glowing parts are kind of like standing off or kind of separated from the rest of the weapon, right? So it doesn't look like they're part of the main frame. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add these highlights to show that this is actually one piece. So I want the highlights above the lighting to show that these lights are actually part of the weapon itself. So what I'm going to do is, I noticed that I didn't create two of the other parts of the weapon that were necessary, but I'm just gonna I forgot the aiming sight, but I've already created this weapon before, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. But I'm gonna jump back in here, and to create the highlights, I like to do my highlights really simple. Now that does bring up a point. When I'm creating, I don't really do a lot of shadows and lighting in Adobe Animate when I'm creating game characters. And the reason for that is because inside of Unity, if you create a normals map, you can actually have Unity create the lighting and shadows for you. So if I create if I go ahead and create shadows in this, then that means that when my 2D character flips, then even if the lighting is coming from this way, he's gonna have shadows on his front, right? So that's why you don't see me creating lighting and shadows so much in when I'm working in Animate. And let me save this. But I am going to create some highlights for the weapon. Because you're not really going to be paying so much attention to the weapon. So adding these will make it look a little bit more shiny, a little bit more metallic and stuff like that. So, and the way I add my highlights is super simple because I'm lazy. So I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to jump into the symbol that we just created. And I am going to create another layer. And I spelled barrelhead wrong, but I don't care. All right, and my highlights are simple, just white lines. That's it. So go here, and I'm going to, create some white lines around here. So first white line will be up here, and that's a little bit thick, so I'm going to drop it down to about maybe 6 again. All right. And then I'm just going to create a line here. And I want these lines to be above everything else, because, if you'll notice, this white line is actually covering some of the bottom lines. So that does, make it look like it's one piece instead of separated out by into different sections, right? So I'm just gonna put my highlight right here. So this would be representative of if the light is coming from this way, right? I could use the brush tool, but for since there's a lot of straight edges on the back and the front, I want those lines to be straight, kind of reflective. I'm using white. I mean, you can use basically any color that you want, but in game, I noticed that the white highlights kind of stand out better. Especially when I'm on a when the player is in a lighter colored environment. So I just tend to keep them white, and then like I try to let Unity deal with the actual coloring and tint and stuff like that of them later. Um, for this highlight, I want it to be a little bit bigger because this is going to be for the main body. So I'm going to put this here. And if you'll notice, I'm not covering the actual outline. I'm just kind of putting a highlight, very close to it. Yeah, like right around here. So we could still see everything, but we also know that there's like some kind of lighting or some kind of lighting impacting this, right? And for the barrel, I'm gonna go around the inside and just create this here. All right, and I messed that last line up, but yeah. But I mean, you get the general idea. It's not really rocket science here. So just using basic shapes and lines to create complex weapons, and with a few filters, and that's about it. All right, and then I'm gonna put this one on the outside. Yeah, give it a little bit of contrast. All right. So now, well, basically, like that's how I do my highlights. So the only other highlight that I need to do will be the one that goes down the middle, and I don't really necessarily want that a straight line because that just looks nah. So so at this point, I'm going to switch over to the brush tool, the classic brush, and the classic brush tends to use the fill color. So in this case, I'm going to swap this fill color and the stroke color. Um, and then I'm just gonna like create a little like nice little squiggly line right here. I don't want it that squiggly. Yeah, so something like this. I'm drawing with the mouse, like so. Something that's squiggly, but also kind of like shows that there's a bit of a curve. Not that much of a curve. Yeah, a bit of a curve to this weapon. Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of like drawing it like this. Yeah. And I mean, it might take a few tries to get it, exactly right. And with this one, with this particular line or pattern, what I am going to do is I'm going to turn this into a symbol, and I am going to add a bit of a glow effect to this. So filter glow, and I mean that's a red glow. I don't want a red glow. I want a white glow around it because that'll kind of soften it up a little bit, and I'm gonna blur it to right around about maybe 10. And also with this one, I don't want it to overpower the lighting in the back, the lighting symbols or whatever. So I'm going to actually not blend. Move this up here. I'm gonna use my alpha. Right, and I'm going to alpha it down a little bit just to make sure that you can see the lighting beneath it. Like the little neon lights beneath it, but that at the same time you're like, okay, well they're like this is a highlight. This is like something that is above all of this, so that means that this weapon is one piece, right? Also, I think I might want to add a little bit of a highlight here as well. So, because I totally forgot about that one. So I think I'm going to go with a line highlight here. So I'm going to add a highlight right here as well. And this one I'm also going to kind of fade out a little bit, cut the alpha off of it. Maybe add this right here. So this is just, really good quick tutorial to show you how you can use like basic shapes, stuff like that, to create complex weapons. And, make them look semi-decent, with lighting and stuff like that. No, I don't want you. Yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead and like this, and then I'm going to alpha this guy out. Boom. Like this. Maybe a little bit lower for this one. Yeah. And I mean, I could add some shadows here, but like I said, I tend to let Unity do that. Adding shadows is pretty easy as well. You just draw a box, a black box, and then you just like turn the alpha down to like 50, and that's basically how you create shadows, or that's how I create shadows. Because I'm lazy, right? So I'm gonna create a glow around this one as well, white glow. Boost it up a little bit. I might actually make the alpha a little bit stronger on this one. So yeah. All right, and let's back up out of here. All right, and there we go. And that is how I create weapons for my game characters. So now this is a full-on movie clip, and I don't really need these anymore. I think I am going to use this last watch though. Yeah, I'm going to use this last watch, and I'm going to come in here and turn these guys back on. Oh, hold on. Before I do that, if you'll notice, like right now, you can see all of these movie clips. You know, like when you go to the main timeline, you can see all of these movie clips, right? But when I click inside of here, you'll notice that you only see the circle, and these other two are hidden. So what that means in Adobe Animate is even if you hide these layers in while you're working, as soon as you exit or as soon as you export this movie clip, all of those hidden layers are going to be shown. So don't forget, don't forget that because that can be kind of confusing for people who are beginning with Adobe Animate. You're like, wait a minute, I thought like I hid those layers, so why is this popping up? Well, if it's hidden, it's going to show up anyway in the final export. So if there's something that you don't want inside of your weapon or something like that, then make sure you can't just hide it. You have to actually get rid of it. So I'm going to turn these two visibility on these two layers back on. And I just turn that one off. So I can like hide or share or show everything here. So all right, there we go. So yeah, that's what the weapon actually looks like. I was gonna do something with that swatch, but now that I think about it, this does kind of look cool. So I think I'm gonna leave it this color. All right, and yeah, basically this weapon is done. So I'm gonna get rid of these swatches in here. So I'm gonna delete those. And then I can drag this movie clip over here, and yay, he's like all ready to go. Now I did this glow effect with post processing, in in Procreate on iPad. But if I wanted to add this little glow here, well, you know, it's actually pretty easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. I'm going to click into this movie clip right here, the one with the 3 lines, and actually, do I want to click into the 3 lines? No, I think I'm going to create a layer below the 3 lines. And then I'm going to lock this layer so I don't do anything. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to choose this you know, kind of gradient, circle gradient. And I still have my circle tool selected. So what I'm going to do now is, actually, I think I'm going to go here and I'm going to create a circle. Sorry, forgot to turn the line part off. So I'm going to get rid of the line. Yes, I'm going to get rid of the line because I'm not going to need that. And then I'm going to create a circle with no line. Right, and now I can hit Q, and I'm going to turn this way. And I can stretch them out a little bit over here. Yeah, to right where he fits around in there, right? Yeah, that's good enough. All right, and now in order to change the color for this, I'm just going to go to colors. So if you're not seeing these tabs over here, you can go to like window, and this is where all your tabs are. So for me, I've already got this here. So I'm going to go to the color tab, and I'm going to change, you know, this one to like maybe a light yellow. And then I'm going to change this one to maybe orange. Yeah, I'll go with red. Yeah. To a red. All right. Yeah, I might go with those two right now. But if you'll notice, this is still kind of in the middle. So what I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to click this. I'm going to click the paint bucket tool, or I can just hit K. And then I'm going to paint from here, right? So I'm just going to drop the paint bucket, drop the paint in here, and that'll kind of offset the center to where it looks like something's kind of protruding from it. And I think I'm also going to go ahead and change this to like normal yellow, like straight yellow. And I might change this to orange instead. Okay, yeah, that works. All right, now, no, not you. Command D. Right. So this should come below the lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna like move it down here. Move it with the arrow keys, and switch them over here. And yeah, that's good enough, I think. Maybe extend it out a little bit here. Okay, now I'm going to cut this. Alright, so I just put it there because I wanted to make sure that it would kind of align with the, the lines. But now I think I'm just going to put them right here. Yeah, because I do kind of want it to intersect with this. So I'm going to cut this. Put this here. Wait a minute, I messed up. Hold on. Where do I want this guy? Do I want you here? Alright. Ah, okay, that's why. Okay, I was wondering what had happened. I had these layers locked. Right. So let me put you here. So right now I'm just kind of lining everything up, but here, and hold on, give me 1 second. I lost track of what I was doing actually. So let's see. I'm gonna put this guy on a layer right here. Hold on. Oh, okay. And then I'm gonna take this, right, and I'm gonna take this layer, take this line around the black circle, and then I'm gonna go up to here and I'm gonna paste that line here. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. And now I can cut this part off, right? And that makes it look like the light is protruding. And that took me like 5 minutes to figure out. It's actually pretty easy. But I'm just showing you like how you can use lines to like create a lot of cool effects. So you don't have to be like a professional artist or anything like that. Just remember squares and circles are your best friend. And see, do I want to pull this guy out a little bit more? Yeah, so I can kind of like play around with this, adjust the length, or adjust like, adjust a lot of things. It gives me a lot more options to make it look a little bit more, original, authentic, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but that's how I create, like, that's how you can create the glow. And since it's created inside of the symbol, when I go out of here, you should notice that it's kind of got like the glow around it as well. This glow is a little bit weak, so if it's a little bit weaker than I want, what I might do is come out here and add another glow to it, and that'll give it more of a like okay, this thing is freaking charged and getting ready to take your head off kind of effect. So I can do that. I don't want to do it too much to where like the glow is like showing outside of the circle. I mean, I could do that, but in my case, I think I want to keep the glow inside of here, a little bit more inside. Or I could go with the inner glow, but I'm just gonna leave it like this. And now that looks like a charged weapon, a charged energy weapon that can fire at any time. All right, and I think that's gonna be basically it for this tutorial. So yeah, this was a little bit lengthy because I was kind of explaining the whole process, but before, this is how I create the weapon, but importing it into Unity is like a little bit of a different story. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that as well. So with this weapon, if you'll notice, it's kind of facing this way, kind of facing at an angle, and like right now, I can do whatever I want to with this weapon. I mean, I can change the pivot point. So if I change the pivot point to the center, I can kind of just rotate it wherever I want. And this shows you what it will kind of look like in game when it's being used by the character. Now, when I'm importing it into Unity, though, one thing with the type of shooter that I'm making an omnidirectional shooter where the players can shoot 360 degrees, right? So, in that case, what I want is I want to make sure that the weapon is facing straight up. So if you notice, I have already created this weapon down here, boom, and it's pointing straight up with the barrel pointed straight up. And the reason why I've pointed this up is because when it comes to the code, I need to like have the actual graphic pointed, at a 90-degree angle. Otherwise, with the way that I've coded it, I'll have to create an offset, and so when the weapon is facing this way, the bullet might be going at a different angle. So in order to avoid that, when you're creating weapons for Unity, always try to create them. Always try to make sure that they're facing upward, pointing straight up, at a 90-degree angle before you export them, right? So, for example, with this one, like, if we go to the Unity project, if I can actually get to the Unity project, yeah, Unity project with this character, I'm going to go to Franklin, if I can spell. Alright, so I've got my Franklin character in here, and here's his other weapons. I've already, these were all created using the exact same method that I just showed you. So let me open up the Sprite Editors. I can show you his kind of breakdown. So here's the Sprite Editor, and here's all of the separated sprites that were created in Adobe Animate. If I go to the Skinning Editor, if I was going to add bones to this character, then you can see like what he actually looks like in the game, right? But when it comes to his weapons, let's see. I'll go ahead and turn Zinjin off right now. So I'm gonna find my. Where are you? Where are you? Here we go. So I keep all of my characters on this under a player, because they're one of the key elements of this game is being able to switch between characters, like in real time while you're playing. So let's zoom in on this guy. This is Zinjin. He's like the leader of the team. And let's see. I'm gonna turn Zinjin off for a little bit, and I'm gonna turn Franklin on. All right, and this is what Franklin looks like in game, right? So right now, if you'll notice, he's kind of doing like this. He's got his hands up in a surrender position. But the reason I'm doing that is because with this type of game, right now I don't have his bazooka really programmed yet. I'll add that later. But I do have his main guns animated. So the reason I've got him in a hands up pose is because of the type of shooter. So I'm going to play this a little bit for you guys to see. He does have to have his hands pointed straight up, because these two things right here are the shot points where the actual weapon is where the actual projectile is going to come out. And hold on, I'm going to cut that off. Let me scale this up a little bit more, like maybe 1.5. All right, and so since I'm creating an omnidirectional shooter, that's still a little bit small, but yeah. Alright, so let me move out of here. Now, some of these characters do have animation, but right now, I'm kind of, Alright, so here's, so his weapons are pointing straight up at the moment, because I want him to be able to shoot 360 degrees. So, and he can actually do that right now. Boom, boom, boom. And no matter which direction he's facing, you should be able to shoot. Boom, 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 boom. And you can shoot behind him like a cool guy. I mean, his arms are torn out of socket, so I'll fix that shit later. But you know, so that's why I'm creating his weapons. When I'm creating his weapons, I make sure that they're facing up, because otherwise, in the code, I would have to try to like figure out the angle and offset them, which is, you know, kind of sucks if you get out of it. Right. So yeah, that is basically it. So I'll be showing you how I code his bazooka later. Yeah. And yay! And I'll also be showing you how I add animation to this as well. Right. So let me get out of here. Yeah. But in a nutshell, that's how I create my weapons and my characters using Adobe Animate. So like I've got the whole main cast created right now. So I've got Megan with her sniper rifles, Zinjin with his sword and like his gun, Corey with his flamethrower, Franklin with his dual guns and his and his launcher, Dozer with his axe, Randy with her like magic ball, and Black Wolf with his shadow hands, right? So all of these characters will be playable in the game. So like I said, if you're interested in like how this game is progressing, I will try to create regular videos and like a regular like game dev logs on how the game progresses. But I am also going to like take a break sometime to work on some smaller projects just to like improve my programming skills, because I hate programming, but I hate it, but I love it because I get to make games. So I do need to work on building on my programming skills a lot to where it becomes faster and easier for me to create games. I like doing the artwork, but the programming stuff is like more hard. It's harder for me, so I need to kind of focus on that a little bit more. So I am going to be working on multiple projects. This will be the main project because, like I said, I do have I am looking to get funded for this on a Kickstarter so that I can sell this on Steam, on the Steam platform. But like I said, if you're interested in any of my other games, just go to my website, creativemb.com/games. And if you want to like play the demo version of what I've got of this game so far, you can just like click here or go to my itch.io page. And I do have a downloadable version of this game as it stands right now. Not so impressive, so I'll wait a couple weeks until I add a few more details and characters and stuff like that and work out a few of the bugs. But, it'll give you an idea of the story. Then, if you're really interested and want to wear some of the gear that represents these characters and help me out financially, you can go to my Nerdy Urges online store and check out like my apparel. I do have like apparel for these characters already. It would be under CDULO the Outer Rim. So you can click here. I've got coffee mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, all kinds of stuff, right? For all of my original properties. So yeah, there's quite a bit on here. So I would recommend like just stopping by to check it out anyway, because I've got some pretty cool designs. And I think that will be about it for this video. So I'm gonna take a break, maybe play some League of Legends. So I promised myself in 2022 I want to be healthy, happy, and have a lot more fun. So I'm not gonna spend all of my time just staring at a computer, trying to figure out code and stuff like that, like I did for the past couple of years during COVID, because there's nothing to do. So I do want to like enjoy my life a little bit more while making money. So I'm going to jump off, play some League of Legends, try to make some online friends. And if you're interested in more of these tutorials, like let me know. Let me know your comments about the games and stuff like that. And I will see you all in the next in the next broadcast, whenever that is. I haven't come up with a schedule yet, so I will definitely let you know. All right, everyone have a good day. Enjoy your 2022, and good luck for everyone in their projects. And I will see you all later.